right, hey guys, welcome back here at the Infinity Forge with Christian Potenza.
You know what? You do that over again. That was the worst. That's something James would do. Are you high?
Slightly.
All right then.
No. Delete this file.
And send.
So anywho, here we are, still asking Christian some more questions. Thanks for tuning back in. So next up we've got Sammy.
What's up, Sammy?
Sammy asks, a little bit similar to Diana here, what is your favorite memory in the making of 16?
There was a bunch. Like there was a bunch. When we first started, we finally got our voice. You know, like we found the characters and we found a nice swirl in between us, and we were all recording together. Everyone was there. Except for the first couple of episodes, there was a different voice actor who played Jonesy. And then, but there was one episode where we just all of a sudden clicked, and it was a script by Sean Cullen. I don't know if you guys know the comedian Sean Cullen, but Sean Cullen wrote a lot of the 16 scripts. And Sean Cullen, I know the guy. I love his sense of humor. I love seeing him on stage. And what he does is he just pitches something out there, and you see him paint himself into a corner and then walk himself out of it. And the struggle is, even if it's real, it's very funny and entertaining to watch. But Sean has just got such a narrative, and it's twisted. You know, it's just off, and you're either with it or you're not. And at that episode, I could not hold it together. I was the actor that laughed. And once I got the giggles, they would literally shut it down so I could get it together. You know what I mean? And there was one episode where Jonesy called me a fart knocker. And it kept coming up, fart knocker. Even right now, see, you laugh. Imagine performing, right? It's like trying to giggle in church. You're like, and it just... There was that episode. I just remember laughing and laughing. I couldn't get through the script. That was one of my favorite memories. Mind you guys, like we're coming up to the 16th anniversary of 16 this year. In 2019 will be the 16th anniversary. So this was a long time ago. I mean, I just found out I was going to be a dad. You know, I was 31 at the time. So anyways, there was that episode, and that one really, we gelled because there was just a lot of laughing. We were like, you know what, this show is funny. And that's, after that one, it became and there was several ones after that, but actually getting paid to say the word fart knocker a couple times, that's pretty awesome, right? And the other memory that I have, the other side of the coin would probably be the last episode. Because every character got to say a little piece to Nikki. It was a little testimonial. There was not one actor who didn't cry. For real. Because it was the last time you would ever say... See, I'm starting to get a little emotional now because it was this is how much it meant. And Jude always had rants. You know, he'd always have these like goofy things like in the PSA right now. You know, he would just go off on these goofy things that made no sense, but made complete sense, right? So, and we're all there. And we're watching each other do it. And it was like one of the most emotional things. It was almost like, you know, like an intervention where you get to say one piece, or a eulogy is really what it was. We were all saying goodbye to not only to the show, but to these characters. It was the last time that we would ever say these words. And this was 6 years of our life, you know? And in Canadian television, that's a long time. And so there we were. And it was just like somebody started, and just everyone's sitting there, and everyone behind, you know, the scenes watching it, they were crying, and everyone was like, but you have to be quiet, so you're stifling, like a laugh, trying to stifle that. Try stifling a cry. Try stifling a cry and trying to perform. Because really, when you're voice acting, you're just playing pictures in your head. That's what you're doing. So you're living it. And it was the first time I got to do something as a cartoon character that was real. Really real. And when I did my first pass, they were like, okay, that was great. One more. Just one more for safety. Because you always have to have a safety, right? Just in case there was something, a glitch or something. So you do another one. And then after the second one, I just remember just like waking up and just having this huge lump in my throat. And I went outside and I sat down in the lobby, and I just sat and I stared, and I just started crying. And that was probably one of my most best memories. Because that would never happen again. And as an actor, for something like that to happen, to be part of this show, like, I'm grateful. So grateful to be part of this show. I had no idea, man, until I started doing conventions. You know, people would come up to me and be like, dude, you were my childhood. I wanted to be like you. And when I turned 16, I realized this sucks. It wasn't like what I thought. And I was like, yeah, welcome to my world too, with John Hughes films growing up in the 80s. It wasn't pretty in pink. Not fucking one bit. Thanks, John. But you know what? Just knowing that, because at the time we were just actors doing our thing. And then to have that, you know, to have that experience and then find out years later that people were listening and it changed their lives. And then when I'm hearing their stories, it's like that last episode. That's why I love doing conventions. That's why I love my fans, because it's like, I had no idea. You know, and I've heard it all. When I was going through a rough time for whatever reason, not going to go into details. You know, I've been involved with Make-A-Wish Foundation a couple of times. Their last wish was to come hang out with me. And like, out of the 3 kids that we've worked with Make-A-Wish Foundation, 2 of them did pass away. You know? So you just think it's a cartoon, and when we did that last episode, you realized what we were doing was more than a cartoon. It was them. It was their stories, and we were a part of that. So yeah, and that memory just still lives on. So, and I'm still living with that, because even now, you know, I've got people that grew up with me, and now they're bringing their kids to the conventions, and they're like, I never thought I'd see the day where my hero got to meet my daughter or my son. And now Jude gets to hang out with those kids, right? So, yeah, man. So I guess it's not over, but those are my 2 memories. Fart knocker and crying.
All right, that was a very good question.
I thought my answer was better than the question, but see that, James? That's a question. James.
All right, don't know if this one will be answerable, but it's also by Sammy. And he asks, if you could have any total drama or 16 character on Dramarama that isn't already there, who would it be?
I would have Darth. I would have Darth, because the actor who plays Darth, Darren Frost, is a friend of mine. And I just think having a little Darth Vader costume, because you know at daycare, there are those kids that wear the superhero costumes, right? I've seen these. I teach kids acting. I teach kids voice acting. They show up in their costumes. My daughter growing up, princess boxes, you know, the treasure chest. She would play with it. She would want to wear them to school. I'd be like, yeah. I remember going to school with a towel with a bobby pin as a cape. Yeah. So Darth, just because visually, I think it would be awesome. It's Star Wars. What's up?
Yeah.